paying me back. Wow. So, of course, I'm nervous wreck. And, but you know, I'm trying to imagine me talking to you individually, because I do that better than all of you at once. But y'all are my family. I've grown up here. Julie prayed for me, and Scott, Joe, and yeah, I have a peace that came over me. But yes, I am very nervous. But thank you, Julie. Yes, I did say no. And she says, please pray about it. And so I avoided the prayer that night or that day. And then finally, because I didn't want to get an answer. So I finally, everybody was gone out of the tent, and I just went to my bedroom and I got on my knees and I just said, Lord, you know, am I going to do this? Do you want me to do this? So things just started popping into my head, and I'm like, okay. I got my answer. That was my answer. So I told Julie, and yeah, this is different. Anyway, I asked for blessed assurance, and what really just got me just then was echoes of mercy, whispers of love. And I just like, God's doing that whispering in my ear of love right now. It's like, wow, he's here. So I thank y'all. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about my story in camp meeting. So yeah, I don't really have a big spiritual walk here, but I've been here and seen a lot. So I wanted to ask you, I want to start off today and ask you, where were you on August 16th, 1977? Do you know where you were? Because I know where I was. Camp meeting, yes. We were in August back then. I was in camp meeting. Do y'all know what happened on that day? Elvis died. Elvis was, in my world, growing up in the 60s, my neighbor, Angie, across the street, we never missed an Elvis movie. We had to spend the night together. We played Elvis. We did all, Elvis was our world. We just made a big deal out of our Elvis stories and stuff. So Elvis was big to me. So on August 16th, 1977, I remember I was sleeping in a pop-up tent on the main road back there. It seemed like I was just right off the road. And I remember waking up that morning and hearing Elvis died. And I just like, that's me at that age. I was 14 years old. So that was my world. A little bit, I'm gonna just talk about my remembrance of my days here. And so as early as I remember, we came to Antioch at the church when I was 5. And don't remember how old I was. I might have been 9 or 10 when we first camped. Now we're not related to anybody here. We're not tent owners then. And so we put our pop-up up there behind the bathhouse. And we were like the first campers ever at camp meeting. So that was a long time ago. It was hot. I remember that. It was kind of hot up there. And then, you know, then it just started. When I was praying, all the memories of camp meeting is what kept popping in my, God was giving me, just my memories. And all the people that have come and gone here and stuff, you know, and it's like, I'm just going to throw names out because it's like, it's just part of me thinking through all of this. And it's like, I remember the Dunphy boys. They camped back here. All 3 of them, Steve, David, Greg. I remember the Penleys, Terry and Tommy. And Terry was my age, Tommy was a little younger. And I remember Rachel Satterfield and Tommy were best friends. You couldn't separate them. They played nonstop in camp meeting. Tony Cook, Ricky Satterfield, the Buffington girls, Garnet Henderson, Joe and Jeff Haynes, Kathleen Booth, Jack Haynes, the parents, Beulah, Beanie, and just all these people, Michelle Meyer and Mike, Bobby Moore, and I remember Jason Mathis. Yeah, I remember those days too. Lois Minor sweeping. I just remember Lois Minor sweeping. Yeah. Oh, over here, she'd run me off with the broom or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybelle Ray, remember her very well. Those are just people that were just flashing through my mind during all this stuff. And it's like, wow, just all those people that have come through here. And there's so many more that y'all know and touched, and lives and how they've come and gone and blessed us through the years. It was awesome. So I remember my next memory was probably around 10 and stuff. So we played a lot of rook. You never saw me without rook cards. That's basically my pastime. That's what I did. I'd find somebody to play rook with. I really didn't want to hang out with Nan and Julie. They were too girly for me. They were just prissy city girls. See, I'm the country girl, and I just didn't feel adequate enough to be hanging out with them. And then look at us, we're, and that's silly. It's silly as a child how we think of stuff like that. But yeah, and we've turned out to be very good friends. So, and it's just weird. So I remember, always playing my rook. I remember camping, very little. We didn't camp every year, but I remember my parents divorced when I was 13. So the camper went away then. And so it was me and Mom a lot. And I know that she worked hard and all that, and she would borrow a camper from somebody she worked with, and would pull it. Then we were down there by the other bathhouse, kind of where Emily's skin is, and we would camp down there. And then one year, I'm working, I'm in my 20s now, and it's like, I'll come to camp meeting at church at night. But one year, we had a new preacher. So I remember sitting back there, and probably I had braided hair back then and stuff, and he was a little preppy thing, and, but he was so charismatic. He was so fun and adventurous and very outdoorsy and stuff, and so he caught my attention by that. He wasn't like a preacher I thought a preacher would be, he was fun. So all week we sparked, we talked, we kind of tap each other's foot under the table. That was mainly me. Things like that through the week. And so finally, he asked me on my first date. Now and a lot of y'all already know my story, so I'm going to tell it anyway. Our first date, of course, he took me frog gigging on Saturday night of camp meeting. And this was still back in August back then. And so, and I'm like, Susan Whitley was hanging out with me then, and she was like my little sister. She's about 9 years younger than I am, and she, I'm like, I don't know what frog gigging is, and I don't know if he's for real, so you're going with me. So I didn't trust him. I thought it was like a little snipe hunting. So we go over to the manicured golf course, where they groom everything down to it. We find a hazard, a water hole. And he's like, showing us how, you shine the light on it, and then I'm holding the light, and he says, you see it? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, frogs barely sticking out of the water. And he goes over there to show you how you gig it. You walk up on it and you gig it. And I'm like, okay, and I think he missed. And I'm like, can I try? So he's like, sure, yeah, okay. So this is true story. So he's shining the light on it, and I don't walk up to it. I throw it and nailed it. Beginner's luck, but then he was in love with me right after. That was it. That was it for him, and that was love. So, we've had a lot of good years here. Fast forward, we're having our 30th anniversary this year. I mean, yay, whoa. We camped with the girls. We have 3 daughters. Sarah, 27, Allison is here, 24, and Caroline's 20. We camped with them as they were growing up, and really, Allison and Sarah cut their teeth on these pews, or the old pews. We would just throw a cloth diaper over it, and they'd just gnaw on it, during church. So really, they cut their teeth there. So this place is obviously very special to us and my family because, first of all, I met their father here, and the girls, they have never missed unless it was like, they had a work thing for a whole summer away, but they try to get here. It's very meaningful to them and what this tradition means to them and our family. We've had 6 churches we've served together all over, and in 2001 we built our tent, and that's hard to describe to people that don't know what a tent is, but so we call it a cabin to people. So we were the first to build outside the circle back there in the woods. It was approved, so that's where we are, and it's been 18 years now. It's hard to believe. Time flies. So life just tends to go on, as we all know it. It's just life. We get bumps in the road here and there, but we just keep going through, right? We've all had them. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, we've had our hard times, we've had our very good times, and all that. It's just life. Scott was diagnosed with cancer. What year? 2008? Yeah. 7? Yeah, so, I just said, bump in the road. And sure enough, it was a bump in the road. It rocked our world a little bit, and now he's 11 years cancer-free. It's like, we moved on. Yeah, we had a lot of people praying for him, and it was just good stuff. Oh, and I wanted to share a reading, and this is what my reading is today. It's Philippians 4. Philippians 4, 6, and 7. And I'm getting all kinds of texts, people praying for me. Rejoice in the Lord always, and I will say again, rejoice. And David said that this morning. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Simple as that. Simple as that. So don't worry and pray about everything. Simple, very simple. So I've been doing a lot of that. And then it says in verse 7, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Jesus Christ. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Jesus Christ. That's good stuff. So another date that I have for you, this one probably won't mean as much to you. You probably won't guess this one. It's November 6, 2018. That's when the day I found out I was diagnosed with cancer. And so, again, rock your world, It was the same day Scott's mother passed away, and we were packing to head to Florida for the funeral. And I just said, I'll be back in a week, and we'll deal with that. So it's just kind of like, so on the way down, it's surreal when you're told those words. It's like, I have cancer. I don't feel like it, but I have cancer. Just kind of surreal. So we didn't know what kind of cancer. We didn't know how far along, so I had to wait, during all that time. So we did the funeral, all of that stuff. We got back, and then I scheduled my next appointment to find out the MRI, to find out more details. Got the results in December, and they already had a plan. And they said, that's when I found out it was early. This is how we treat it. Boom, boom, boom. And you're, and it's like, cool. How easy is that? It's like, I got a plan. I got, everything's just all done. They didn't have to do this special thing for Sandy. They know how to treat this type of breast cancer. So it was like, awesome, another just bump in the road. And it's like, I never was worried at that point at all anymore, because I had a plan. God's given me the faith and the trust and all of that. I don't have to worry anymore. And I didn't. I guess that's something I've learned through the years. Why worry? It's a waste of time. It doesn't bring you anything, nothing. I have a very good friend. She was here last night, and man, when for years, she was a worrier. She was such a godly woman. Like, I put her up here, one of these church ladies. But she worried all the time. She'd wake up at night worrying about her kids. What if they drowned? I mean, and then, it's like, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to put yourself through that? And so we were in an accountability group, and we always tried to help her with that. And it's like, well, read the Bible at night, pray. So I even bought her a headlamp so she could read her Bible at night and not bother her husband and wake him up. So she was a worrier, but now she's growing through that. It took a good 10, 12 years for her to finally realize that brought her nothing at all. So I get my cancer plan, and that is 6 treatments of chemo every 3 weeks. Then you have surgery, and then you have radiation. And it's like, okay, let's do it. Let's bring it on. So in January, we started first treatment, and you should have seen me. People were, snacks, people gave me pillows, a prayer blanket. I had so much stuff I took with me. It was like suitcases of stuff. My backpack with my laptop, really, it was like food. I need this. You get cold when you're there. You need a blanket. And so it was ridiculous. It was just ridiculous on how much stuff I took. But I wanted to be prepared. But after that, it's nothing. They give you blankets, warm ones at that. And also that day, the first day, their air conditioner was out. So it was hot. It was hot in there. I didn't get a blanket. And I was like, I'm burning up in here. It was pretty funny. So, I dwindled my stuff down. I had 2 of my very good friends, Penny being one of those, and Bobby Barber. They came every time because we served at a church in Forsyth County and Cumming. And so I was in Johns Creek. They were closer to me there. And they were there all 6 of those treatments. And we would just sit there and just reminisce and have a good time. It's like, so I had my sisters back, because I don't get to see them. I hadn't got to hang out with them like that in 12 years, so it was like they were close. It was awesome. Every time. Bobby brought me a bag of snacks every time, and it just grew and grew. And I still have my bag of snacks. They're just combining things. People would send me more stuff. So I'm up to date now. I'm in my radiation, and I'm halfway through. I'm doing great. I've done great through the chemo. I had my ups and downs, but mostly good, considering most people. So I've been very blessed on that. Yesterday, I do have to go every 3 weeks still and get one of my medications, one of my drugs called Herceptin, and that's for my type cancer. So for the rest of the year, I still go every 3 weeks for that infusion. So yesterday was one of those days. And I ran into these friends from church, and David has been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And they were just walking, their appointment was evidently just right after mine. And so we're like, wow, he could barely walk through the door. And I said, "Good, let's sit over here together." And he just got the first seat that was closest to the door where he could just sit. That's how weak he is. And we did Relay for Life together. He was unable to walk. Then he got on a golf cart and rode, and Scott and I walked behind him, since we're the survivors and the survivors walk. But it's just a coincidence, is it a God thing, that I saw them yesterday. He's always on my heart. He's always on my mind. I'm always worried about him, and I'm always praying for him. And there they were, and Beth is awesome. So as he was getting his lab work done, she walked with me, and we got both of our chairs together, and we were going to have a big party, you know. So Beth and I went back and talked, and it was so good for her to talk as the caregiver, for one thing, and good for me to hear what she had to say, because I was trying to explain when I'm in the radiation, laying on the bed every day, all I'm worried about is like what I'm gonna cook for dinner, you know, or you know, going to the pool, or you know, something like that. A lot of people that are laying in there don't have that peace or comfort because they're worried about their test from this treatment. And I'm like, I'm just so blessed. I have no worries. But so when I talked to Beth yesterday, she says, yes, that's survivor's guilt. And it's like, yeah, I forgot it had a name. You know, I've heard it before, and it's like, here I am, not a care in the world, because I'm going to be okay. And I don't deserve it. It's just the way it's happened. I called it early, I guess, you know. But David's story is going to end up being different, because he's so weak, and pancreatic cancer is not as curable as breast cancer is. So he is heavy on my heart. We're going through it at the same time, and it's tough. It's tough to watch. So, you know, why me? Why am I so blessed? I don't know. I think, you know, I don't think God causes these things for me to be blessed and him not. You know, I don't think God says, oh, you're good and you're not good. You know, it's not how it works. It's because we were in the fall, Adam and Eve. It's because they messed it up. And so that's why we have pain and suffering today. Bumps in the road. He said it wasn't going to be easy, but we got to have faith and deal with our ups and downs and just continue through life. Some of that's part of my inheritance from my mom. She has a great attitude, but I think a lot of it, people say, you Sandy, you have a great attitude, and I'm like, but I think it's more of my faith. I think it's more of my faith walk. Whatever you're given, you just learn to deal with it. You just go with it. There's nothing I can do to change it. You just go with what life has thrown at us, and so be it. So I just keep saying God is so good. God is just so good all the time. And he brings good out of hard things, out of suffering. There's always a good lining through the worst of times. One of my sayings, I've taught my kids this. It's like, you know, part of living is dying. And so dying to my kids is just kind of, it's not scary. It's just the way it is. Life here is just about this big. I mean, really, the older I get, of course, I realize how short life is. We're just here just for a blimp. But what's ahead is the eternal life that we will have with God, with Jesus. And it's like, so that's why we're here. We're here to glorify God through our pain and suffering, through all things. Take everything, all your petitions to him in prayer. So I'm going to survive cancer this time. If it comes back next time, we'll deal with it again, another day. You know, right now I'm good. I'm blessed. And one thing that I said at the very beginning when I found out I had cancer is like, cancer is not going to define me. I'm not going to be defined by Sandy has breast cancer. But right now with my hair short and when I was bald, I didn't care. It was actually, I love this, I'm gonna keep it short. and I would have wore my head bald all the time, but it was winter and my head got cold. I kept losing it more and more as time kind of progressed. But I didn't want it to define me. But one thing that I love when I had the bald head or short hair, strangers, just come up to you and they say, I'm a survivor too, and I know what you're going through, and I'm praying for you. And it's just so gracious. It's just like, I just say, thank you so much. That is so, and I'm going to do that. I want to do that for people. I want to give back that feeling to other people, because that's part of my story. That's just all I have to offer right now. And I want to pray. I want to hold hands. I want to do whatever I can that God wants me to do to help others going through this journey. So, may God just use me and bless me to honor His kingdom and use me in all ways. I hope that's all I can do. So, I don't know how long I talked, but I'm coming to a closing, and I wanted to share, to remember again, the last part of the scripture in Philippians is 4:9. But I wanted to remind you in 4:6, don't worry about anything, but pray about everything. Take that with you. Don't worry about anything, but pray about everything. And then I wanted to finish with the Philippians 4:9. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice. And the God of peace will be with you. Isn't that awesome? And that's what I have. God is with me. I have peace right now. I can get through it, got through it, I'm almost there. And I had a lot of people praying for me, lots and lots. And people would say, what can I do? I said, just pray. Prayer is all you need when you're going through something. That's all you can do. And I felt every prayer, every single one of them. I had so many people praying for me, I couldn't think them all. So I'm being very blessed.